Neuralink filed multiple patents, and they have a patent on telepathy, telekinesis, and blind sight.
So the purpose being they're going to create a chip that is able to harness and allow people to have these abilities?
They're working on the technology to where if you have the Neuralink, you can communicate with someone via just thought. That's in your brain. That's like almost your consciousness, being able to communicate with another consciousness.
And they're manipulating it.
I can't imagine having like something else besides my thoughts in my brain that I can't control.
You know what is super weird about that though? All the Neuralink facilities are posting up next to ICE facilities, and they have a new quota where they're wanting to do thousands of new implants.
They need like volunteers.
But for science, you would need pretty general population.
Average people.
Yeah.
Science has always done really well with human and
Ethics.
animals ethically with with volunteers and research.
Oh, look at all the billionaires on the bus, bro. Mad billionaires on the bus, bro. Mad billionaires on the bus. Where the billionaires? Yo, W up. Billionaires. They lit.
Have you seen the new subway gates?
No!
I feel like the subway is one of those things that's like almost impossible to stop.
I hope that this resolves the problem.
We'll see.
Someone tried to break into J.D. Vance's home, armed with a hammer. Just after midnight on Monday, Secret Service agents guarding his Cincinnati home heard loud smashing sounds and then saw a man running from the property. Turns out 4 windows had been shattered. And on the way in, the suspect also vandalized a Secret Service vehicle. Agents detained the man within minutes. He's been identified as 26-year-old William DeFore, who now faces multiple charges, including criminal trespass, vandalism, and damaging property. J.D. Vance, his wife Usha, and their 3 young children were luckily not home. They were already back in Washington, D.C. Vance later confirmed the incident himself, thanking the Secret Service and local police, and saying it appeared to be the work of a crazy person.
President of Mexico. She goes to this witchcraft ceremony. She claims to be Jewish. Now the detractors say, oh, no, that's just kind of indigenous. To me, you have corruption. You have occult religious leaders, church leaders blending together. And then you see what I think was Taylor Swift with the Super Bowl, scantily dressed with, I think, flames on it, riding the back of this big golden beast. Again, the devil hides in plain sight. I think you're always going to see this corruption and militating against the truth.
Heart-stopping moments for passengers on a city bus in Houston over the weekend. In fact, take a look at this. The bus crashed off an overpass on Saturday, sending it plunging down this embankment. More than a dozen people were rushed to area hospitals. Thankfully, none of the injuries were life-threatening. An investigation into the cause of the crash is still underway.
How many vets are owned by private equity now?
It's like a third to a half, probably.
Wow. Okay, so they've been scooping them up.
Oh, massively.
So they'll go to owners of
mom and pop shops.
Yeah, mom and pops, and they're doing this with dentists as well, and HVAC, and like basically every small business in America, and they'll buy just a whole bunch of them.
And then they'll just raise the prices.
Does the care get better?
No, the care gets worse.
Dude, there is a new prediction that is out right now for how AI by the year 2035 is going to feel like, and it's insane. So the prediction is basically that by the year 2035, AI won't feel like an app that you open or a tool that you use. It will fade into the background of everyday life, quietly working around you. The prediction is that you won't tell AI what to do anymore. AI agents will observe patterns, anticipate needs, and fix problems before you even realize that something was there. The shift that they're talking about is not about AI getting faster or smarter. It will feel supernatural because its role changes from something you control to something that simply just knows. The replies won't feel reactive anymore. They'll feel instant, almost uncomfortable, like the system already understood what you were about to ask it. They're saying that screens will probably start to disappear because AI is going to move into glasses, lenses, earbuds, and environments, turning reality itself into the interface. It'll start to begin to read tone, behavior, and micro expressions, not to spy, but to understand context the way that humans do. The entire prediction is saying that AI will no longer feel like a software. It will feel like a presence layered into our world. And eventually they're saying that AI will stop imitating humans altogether. It'll start creating things that we could not imagine on our own, like new art, new science, new materials, and new intelligence. The unsettling part about this entire thing is that it's not science fiction. This is the natural direction that the technology is already moving right now.
Name one job that will be here in 10 years, and I will show you a robot that's already doing it.
What about like a plastic surgeon or a dentist doing a cosmetic?
Go to Boston Dynamics YouTube channel and tell me that they don't already have a robot to replace anything that you have to say. Every time somebody says, oh, well, what about a roofer? Bro, a roofing robot was invented 2 years ago. On top of the roof, it will remove the shingles and install new shingles all as it's going over top of the roof. So people are like, oh, roofers, landscapers. Okay, cool. Let's look at the transportation industry. 7 million people work in the transportation industry. Uber drivers, truck drivers, logistical people. All of those people, 7 million people, are they going to be around in 5 years?
What about pilots? There's been a lot of aviation accidents recently.
Everybody's already talking about how within 2-3 years, all the main commercial companies are going to no longer have 2 pilots. They're going to have a 1 pilot cockpit. The rest of it's going to be ran by AI.
Now, will we ever see a 150-person Southwest jet with no pilots?
100%.
You think so?
Less than 10 years.
So, like, look, it just looks like a normal
it's gorgeous.
lake
it's
house.
Beach, and it's a little ranch-looking house there.
Nice interior, still kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Needs new carpet. Then
weird storage areas.
All of a sudden,
what the what?
All of a sudden,
what the what?
You end up there in the Phantom of the Opera. I'm like, this is unbelievably beautiful.
Yeah, it's saying somebody was like, You know what we don't have around here? Art. Let's bring them art. Hello, we're doing Tartuffe in my living room.
In my secret basement.
Holy cow, it's
theater.
beautiful.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
It is gorgeous.
It has a mezzanine.
It's so dope.
What do you mean it has a mezzanine? Lower level features music, auditorium with seating for 50 plus.
Good lord.
A balcony with additional seating, projection room, all gazing onto the largest Wurlitzer pipe organ made in its day.
Wow.
I need it. And I've seen multiple parajunkies say it gives vampire cult vibes. And yes, it does.
Yeah, it does. We are all in.
We are all in.
The first month after 9/11, before the flight takes off, they would give you the safety stuff, and then they would say you can use your seatbelt as a weapon, you can use your seat as a shield. And there was one flight I took where I was flying first class. I was right at the bulkhead, and the captain came out and said, "Listen, fellas, you're the last line of defense, so I need you not to sleep on this flight." Jesus Christ.
All the technology that we use today is from DARPA, which is a part of the government. They handle all of our military defensive systems, offensive systems. They create all the technology that we use today. The first self-driving car was in 1984 by DARPA. So all the stuff that we think is brand new and amazing, they've been had all this stuff. That phone you have is from DARPA. Facebook, Meta, yeah, that's all DARPA tech. They all work for the government. Why do you think it's free? Because you're the product. The fact that they're giving us ChatGPT and all this great technology, isn't it great? Man, they had this shit 30 years ago.
Is DARPA American?
DARPA is part of the government, yes. Think of it like S.H.I.E.L.D. You know Marvel?
Yeah.
They're S.H.I.E.L.D. They're like part of the shadow government, which they get all their funding from something called the black budget, which essentially is above the government. They don't listen to Congress or the POTUS seat. They can greenlight any project that they want from the black budget and then just like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do this now. We don't have to have, the president sign off, Congress, nobody.
And this is going to sound stupid, but I assume to get in that group with the black budget, you don't get elected.
Not at all. I mean, presidents aren't elected, they're selected. And this is why for the eighth time in a row, the Pentagon fails an audit. Surprise, surprise. They just failed an audit again. So all that money, right? This is what, think about 9/11. So we get hit. Some grainy ass footage of this plane, frame by frame, hits the Pentagon in the accounting department.
2 trillion was 2
trillion gone like that. Coincidence? I think not.
The goddamn grainy footage.
If I were a Jew, I'd be a Zionist. I am a Zionist. You don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist.
Proud to say that no U.S. administration has done more in support of Israel's security than ours.
The United States stands with Israel, now and forever.
We must stand with Israel.
I love Israel. I love Israel. I've been with Israel so long in terms of I've received some of my greatest honors from Israel.
I really don't believe that Zuckerberg, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Sundar Pichai, Tim Cook, and the rest of the shiny tech gods actually care about human life. And I'll tell you why in the way they pray you never notice. These guys talk about saving the world, but every move they make drags us one step deeper into a system where nature becomes a memory and machines become our new master. And don't you dare pretend it's accidental. This is a pattern older than every empire. Strip people from their roots, plug them into a grid, then call it progress. The theme is always the same: control wrapped in convenience, surveillance that watches you for safety, censorship that protects you, algorithms that guide you, mRNA tech that improves you, AI that helps you think. Every tool looks harmless until you see who actually holds the switch. And the joke, the cosmic joke, is that they keep painting themselves as heroes. Magazine covers, TED Talks, fake smiles. Meanwhile, the real play sits underneath: a slow, steady migration of power away from people into the hands of a tiny digital priesthood. And when you trace the pattern back far enough, you realize something embarrassing. The future they're selling isn't about innovation. It's about obedience, a human race that forgets how to touch grass, how to think alone, how to live without a device telling them who they are. So no, I don't think these people are our friends. They're architects, and we're kind of their project.
It says in the Bible, it says Satan will seek to change the times. Oh, isn't that fascinating? He did change the times, timeline, everything. Even the calendar, even the months. They told you there's 12 months, bro. There's 13 months of exactly 28 days. But the calendar, the turtle, has 28 things around its rim. The breakdown of the year is exactly 13 months of 28 days, with one day that represents the renewal, and that makes 365. So there is literally a renewal day plus 28 days. The girls' periods are on 28 days. The moon's on 28-day cycle. Everything's 28-day cycle if we do it. But they did this chaos to create nonsense calendar to distort your perspective of reality, so you don't know what's going on. That's literally what's happening.
Oh no! Whoa! Oh my God! That's coming right for us! Woo! Oh!
If you wake up at 3 a.m. and can't fall back asleep, you're not broken. You're sleeping like a human. Because sleeping 8 hours straight is actually a modern invention. And a medieval worker's night looked nothing like yours. Welcome to One Fact Today, where we bully your algorithm into getting you smart and cultured.
One fact a day keeps the brain right away.
Before electricity, nights were long and dark. People went to bed shortly after sunset. Not for 8 hours, but for 4. This was called first sleep. Then around midnight, something predictable happened. They woke up naturally, calmly, no alarm, no panic. The quiet hour or two was known as the watch. People prayed, people talked, people tended to fires, wrote letters, visited neighbours, or just sat there thinking. Then they went back to bed for their second sleep. 2 sleeps, 1 night, completely normal. Then everything changed. Artificial lights. First gas lamps, then electric ones. Shift work replaced natural rhythms. Cities glowed. Shops stayed open. People stayed awake. Suddenly going to sleep at sunset was impossible. Waking up at midnight was inconvenient. And the idea of one long continuous sleep became the new norm. So the way you sleep today isn't normal. It's industrial. For thousands of years, people slept in 2 shifts. So don't be surprised when you wake up.
Have you heard of the two-way app? The concept is that you can still communicate with your deceased loved ones.
Oh boy.
It's like they're FaceTiming, and the commercial is like she was FaceTiming with her mother that passed. Her new baby. Baby grows up, becomes like an adult, and then he's FaceTiming with his grandmother, and it's her voice, her likeness.
You take the app and you record a video of the person before they pass away. You have them turn to the side, you have them say a few sentences and words. That way the AI can take it and then make their own voice specifically for them, and then you upload that to the app, and then it creates this avatar of your loved one.
I hate that.
And you can have full-on conversations with it.
Their catch line at the top of their website says, "Human connection reimagined in the age of AI."
Not human connection.
It's a robot. You take them like almost like a personality test with it, and so you have your loved one sit down, they fill out a survey, and like crazy.
It's weird.
We are living in Black Mirror more than ever before.
I know.
Literally. Terrifying.
You know about Buzz Aldrin's experience in Antarctica? In 2016, shortly after arriving, he became seriously unwell and had to be emergency evacuated straight to New Zealand. While he was there, a tweet appeared on his account saying, "We are all in danger. It is evil itself." He had a heart attack. Something fucking scared him. So when you start putting all this together, there's something weird going on down in Antarctica.
If you don't understand symbolism, you'll never understand reality. The world doesn't communicate in words, it communicates in patterns. When you miss the symbols, you will spend your entire life reacting instead of thinking. Saturn isn't just a planet. Saturn represents restriction, laws, time, and karma. Systems that shape human consciousness. That's why judges wear black robes. Black equals Saturn. It represents authority, boundaries, and control of the physical world. That's why every major religion uses the black cube. It's your mind locked into material form. This isn't about morality, it's about psychology. When you externalize your power into an outside God, you stop developing your own consciousness. You wait, you obey, and you seek permission. That is true mind control. Michael Jackson understood this. The checkered floor in his album design wasn't a random coincidence. It was a message. Black and white, it's duality. Left brain, right brain. The truth is simple. Master the symbols or live inside their boundaries.
I don't give a fuck about your opinion. Well, this can't be a yoke. Watch this.
What is the essence of what you want the world to know about? That I'm really a man. That I'm really a man.
Wait, why they all laughed? And I think you need to listen this.
Don't know who the other 10 people are. I know Julia Roberts has a pair. I know Madonna has a pair. I think Gwyneth Paltrow has a pair. And I know Elton told me he had a pair.
And this movie scene is questioning our
I first
reality.
moved to the city. I went out a couple times with this girl, really hot, great kisser, but she had the biggest Adam's apple.
And everyone just laughed. And now I want to look at this picture. Look at this picture. We all know who's that. Taylor shit. And this lady. We all know. She also has that. And this is cherry on top. Tell me your thoughts. And look at this. I forgot the name of that lady, but she also has that.
There's a theory that public schools aren't just taking pictures of students, they're feeding a much bigger system that nobody's talking about. Every single year, schools bring in these random third-party companies to take high-definition photos of millions of kids. And when you really stop to think about it, it's kind of strange. Most parents don't question it. We sign a form, send our kid in a clean shirt and everything twice. But if you actually look into who owns some of these companies, that's where people online start freaking out. Because when you follow the money, you don't end up at a small photography studio. You end up at a massive data firm, corporations with investments in facial recognition, AI training, and digital identity systems. And suddenly parents online are like, why does a data company want a perfectly lit, perfectly framed, high-resolution photo of my 7-year-old? Here's where the theory gets unsettling. These companies don't just take the photo, they store it, they process it, some even claim legal ownership of every image they capture. And when parents ask them to delete it, if you have literally said no, because that picture is now part of their system. So people are asking, is this really about school pictures? Or are schools quietly helping build the next generation of facial data sets, starting with our children? I'm not saying it's true, but with how fast digital surveillance is growing, it's not as far-fetched as you think. Stay weird.
Because I feel like they use the news and shit like that to infiltrate the minds of adults and weaken adults and make adults easier to control and steer and direct them into doing what they want adults to do. Kids don't watch the news. They don't give a shit. They're not going to sit down at 6 p.m. and watch some old man with white hair talk about. So they use pop culture. Hollywood is fucking largely evil, like, in my opinion. So, like, that's another reason for it, is like, how can we fuck up these kids so they're as dependent on us, on the system, as their folks are? So they use shit like whatever it is, Cardi B or Sam Smith, and people, a guy dressed as a woman that's standing up on stage at the fucking Grammys, or lyrics in songs and narratives in movies and weird subliminal messaging in children's shows and children's books and da-da-da-da-da. Because that's the media that they're consuming. We're consuming the evening news. They're consuming pop culture. Yeah. So it's all been molested and distorted to weaken people and make people confused and make people think they need help. And then the system swoops in and says, perfect, I'm here to help you.
This is not what you think. Repetition compulsion is a term used in psychology when someone unconsciously repeats tragic events. We have the towers, COVID, and what happened to Charlie. But what do these threats have in common on a deeper subconscious level, little butter? 9/11 was about 24 years ago, and it took people many years before they were comfortable enough to say, I think that something's wrong with the narrative we've been told. COVID happened about 5 years ago, and it took humankind collectively about 1 to 2 years to feel safe enough to say, we don't know about this story. Now, the Charlie story happened this past year, September 10th, just 1 day before 9/11. There's a synchronicity there, and there's always synchronicities involved in repetition compulsion, by the way, whether someone's planning it from behind the scenes or not. The universe works in synchronicity, which is why I'm working with a Fibonacci spiral right here. Now, the Charlie situation happened this year, and people are automatically questioning the story. Notice how the human mind moves faster in its ability to question authority every time it experiences a collective trauma. And if we're using the Fibonacci sequence as a sort of grid, notice how the numbers in the Fibonacci sequence get closer together through the spiraling pattern. Americans actually want to be sovereign right now. People want to be able to walk through the details and the evidence by themselves. And what I've learned in the study of repetition compulsion is when you truly learn the lesson that is underneath all of the physical outcomes of your reality, the lesson itself stops repeating itself. So the center of this Fibonacci pattern could be a doorway to freedom from such dark and tragic events. It could also be a doorway to suppression, where people are unable to think for themselves. So it's up to humanity as a whole to decide which direction we move in.
Does the CIA listen through our phones and laptop cameras? Yes. I hate to say it. There was a dramatic leak in 2017 that the CIA came to call the Vault 7 disclosures. Gigabytes worth of documents leaked by a CIA technology engineer. What he told us was that the CIA can intercept anything from anyone. Number one. Number two, they can remotely take control of your car through the car's embedded computer. To do what? To make you drive off a bridge, into a tree, to make you kill yourself and make it look like an accident. They can take over your smart television and turn the speaker into a microphone so that they can listen to what's being said in the room even when the TV is turned off. God knows what else that they can do that hasn't been leaked.
What's a conspiracy theory you 100% know is true?
Root canals. There's this YouTube video, which before was a documentary on Netflix before it got pulled after 2 weeks, known as The Root Cause. The Root Cause discusses the big psyop by dental industry and by big pharma to fuck people's health up through root canals. You can't even watch it in the United States. You have to turn on a VPN because it's banned by the American Dental Association, which is in bed with big pharma. And I can say that because dentists can't say it because they'll lose their license, but I can say it because I don't have a license. I had a root canal recently removed, and once they did the DNA biopsy on the tooth, they found 20 different types of parasites growing and living inside of my jaw. So stay away from fluoride, and now stay away from root canals.
There are case studies and reports of people with dissociative identity disorder, multiple personalities inside of a person, where one of them has a medically diagnosable condition and the other one does not.
Are you
No. One of them could be cortically blind, or one could have color blindness. One of them could have some kind of a diabetic condition. There are several conditions where these other personalities would have allergies even. Just upon reading this, I'm thinking, could I make someone with severe depression have an alter ego that doesn't have the depression? And we know that neurons that fire together wire together. So over the course of 6 months, if they keep doing this, can they kind of like rewire their brain if this alter keeps taking over?
A welcome pay raise is in store for millions of workers across the country in the new year. Here's a look at where minimum wage is going up and where it's not.
by the numbers. 19 states will raise their minimum wage on New Year's Day, including Missouri and Nebraska, which will cross the $15 an hour milestone labor advocates have long pushed for. In fact, for the first time, there will be more workers in states with a minimum wage of $15 an hour or more than those with the federal minimum of $7.25. And even if they aren't at the $15 milestone yet, many more states and cities are raising wages far beyond the federal rate. Ohio's minimum wage is increasing nearly 3% to $11, and Virginia is raising theirs to $12.77. The trend is set to continue in 2026. 3 more states, Florida, Alaska, Oregon, are set to increase their minimum wages later in the year. And economists say more than 8.3 million workers could benefit from the wage increases, as higher minimum wages often push employers to raise salaries for workers higher up on the income ladder. But 20 states are still at the federal $7.25 an hour rate, which hasn't changed in 17 years. Some policymakers and business owners argue that higher minimum wages are costly for businesses and lead to less job growth.
Knowing what you know, can you predict the future and describe it so AI can generate a picture of what it looks like?
Oh.
How many years? 100 years from now, can you describe what the future will look like?
I've seen people predict 100 years and they get it all wrong. So
50 years from now, can you describe what the future will look like?
I'm thinking not so much what we would look like, but the fact that medicine would be so tailored to your DNA that you would have no side effects at all. They would take a DNA reading, shape the medicine to fit you, bada bing. There's that. I think self-driving electric cars will replace 100% of the automobiles on the road. And that'll happen, I think, in way sooner than 50 years. Did you know that in 1905, there was 50 horse-drawn carriages in the street for every one automobile? 10 years later, there were 50 automobiles for every one horse-drawn carriage. We literally and figuratively built civilization on the backs of horses, and you couldn't give away a horse 10 years after the car was introduced.
It's an unwelcome sight for many drivers. A pair of blinding headlights leaving you unable to see behind the wheel of your own car. So what's changed to make headlights so much brighter now?
Okay, so
Our first stop is Tuner Works in southwest Calgary, where Chris Hart has set up a demonstration.
it's hard to believe that was expected to light the road.
The bulb he's got here is an incandescent, much dimmer than the modern LED or HID bulbs. But the biggest cause of glare, he says, is how those brighter lights are installed.
It simply just looks like a flood of light if they're not being reflected and projected properly. So just as important as the bulb is, so is the housing that it's going in, and they have to be matched properly.
Another problem, Hart says new headlights often include a change in color temperature.
This is kind of the area where we start to see the spectrum of light increase from a yellowish bulb to more of a whitish light.
The blue contribution is very strong here.
This engineering professor explains that our brains expect warmer colors when it's dark out. Think sunrise and sunset versus noon sunshine.
If you are seeing like very bright bluish lights, that can confuse the brain, right?
And the powerful LED bulbs in those headlights coming your way are also smaller.
All that power coming from a very small spot, that will appear to be brighter to us.
He says any standards based on older technologies like halogen bulbs are out of date. Transport Canada says it last updated its regulations in May, partly to allow headlights that automatically adjust to approaching vehicles and road conditions.